The next time it rains, look at the umbrella in your hand and ask the obvious question: who invented this thing? It feels like there should be one answer. One clever person, one wet afternoon, one brilliant little roof on a stick. But the umbrella has a better secret than that. It was not really born as a rain tool. Even the word points in the other direction. Umbrella comes through words connected to shade and shadow, a little shadow, a portable patch of darkness. Before it was the thing you grabbed in a storm, it was the thing that stood between important skin and the sun. That changes the whole story. In ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, China, India, and other places, umbrella-like objects were not simply practical gadgets for anyone walking to the market. They were often held above important people: a ruler, a noble, a person whose body was not supposed to stand uncovered like everyone else's. The umbrella began as a kind of portable ceiling, and if someone else was holding it for you, the message was not subtle. You were not just protected from the sun, you were above the crowd. That is the first strange part of the umbrella's history. The object we now leave dripping in a doorway once worked like a social signal. Shade meant rank, shade meant distance, shade meant someone had the power to carry comfort with them. The rain came into the story, but not as the whole story. The ancient Greeks helped bring umbrellas into Europe as sunshades. The Romans used them against rain too. But for a long time in Europe, the umbrella did not become the ordinary street object we know today. It disappeared from common use, came back in certain places, and carried the old smell of status with it. By the late 16th century in Italy, umbrellas were visible again as objects of distinction, especially connected with clergy and ceremony. In France and across Europe, the sunshade slowly became fashionable. The parasol, smaller and more delicate, became part of outdoor dress for women in the 18th and 19th centuries. So before the umbrella became a universal tool, it had another problem. It was not just about weather. It was about who was allowed to carry one without looking ridiculous. Today that sounds absurd. If rain is falling, you open the umbrella. But objects carry social rules. For a long time, the umbrella could look feminine, foreign, luxurious, theatrical, or fussy. A man choosing to walk under one was not only making a weather decision, he was making a public style decision. That is what makes the umbrella funny. The same object could be a royal sign, a woman's fashion accessory, a clerical marker, and eventually a black practical shield for city streets. The technology was simple enough to understand, but hard to perfect. A useful umbrella has to do several things at once. It must open quickly, close neatly, resist wind, stay light enough to carry, and not collapse when the whole sky leans on it. That means the magic is not only in the canopy, it is in the ribs, the runner, the stretchers, the hinges, the handle, and the way all those little parts agree to move together. Older umbrellas used materials like cane, wood, cloth, silk, paper, leather, or whalebone depending on place and period. They could be beautiful, but they could also be heavy, fragile, expensive, or awkward. Then the industrial age changed the umbrella's body. In the 1850s, modern steel frame construction replaced older cane rib construction. That sounds like a small engineering detail, but it mattered. A lighter and stronger frame helped the umbrella become something more ordinary people could actually carry, buy, and use. The umbrella was becoming less like a ceremony and more like a machine. And then came the modern obsession, making it smaller. The umbrella had one stubborn flaw. When you did not need it, it was annoying. It was long, wet, easy to leave behind, and awkward in a crowded room. The perfect umbrella would protect you in the rain and then disappear. That dream took a long time. Hans Haupt is one of the key names in the pocket umbrella story. He worked on shortenable and folding umbrellas for years. In 1930, he applied for a patent for a shortenable umbrella, and the NURPS pocket umbrella later became a famous product. The point was not just that the umbrella opened. The point was that modern life needed it to shrink. That is the second strange part of the story. For thousands of years, the umbrella announced presence. It said, "Look who is important enough to stand under shade." The modern umbrella does the opposite. It hides in a bag until the moment you need it. It wants to be forgotten, and we do forget it. Umbrellas are now so ordinary that they are almost disposable. They break in wind. They pile up in lost and found corners. They are made of mixed materials that can be hard to recycle. The object that once hovered over kings is now cheap enough to abandon after a storm. So who invented the umbrella? Not one person. The umbrella was assembled across centuries from shade, status, fashion, rain, engineering, and inconvenience. It began as a little shadow for the powerful. It became a public argument about style. Then it became a folding machine for everyone. And that is why the most ordinary umbrella is secretly strange. It is a portable roof with a memory of royalty. A tiny machine made from weather and embarrassment. A little shadow that finally learned how to fit in your pocket.